2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Nancy Van Reese, the chair of Parks, Library, and Arts Committee. I apologize having some technical difficulties, and so I don't have camera on, but I wanted to welcome everybody to this third of 6 installments in our discussions with parks, libraries, and arts so that we can get a better understanding as to who they are, what they do, why it is important to our city that they are doing the work that they're doing. And we heard from the Parks Department. We heard from the public libraries, and now we're going to hear from Metro Arts, Office of Metro Arts and Culture. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the director, Caroline Vincent, who's going to let us know who else she brought with her today and let her share some insights. We will reserve a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end, but we will have a hard stop at 5 p.m. In just 56 minutes from now. Thank you so much. And Caroline, I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, thank you, Council Lady. And I will be quick. I think, I have some slides, but I won't hopefully be too boring. I will, get through these slides in, I hope, 25 minutes or so. And then we'll have plenty of time for questions. So I will share my screen and hope all of the technology works as it should. Let's see. Is this the right one? Okay, can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, we will get started. So here we are. I'm Caroline Vincent, as mentioned, Executive Director of Metro Arts, and I'll talk a little bit about the staff that are here with me in just a moment. Thank you for this opportunity. We're really excited to do a little bit of a deeper dive on Metro Arts than you typically get to see in our quick meetings and budget hearings. This is exciting for a little bit more. So we'll start with our mission, which of course informs everything that we do. We believe the arts drive a more equitable and vibrant community through the arts. We strive to make sure all Nashvillians can experience the arts and a creative life. And we work through this with a number of programs and initiatives like public art and placemaking, strategic funding and initiatives, and of course, community partnerships and training. So we'll talk a little bit about all of those things and how we do that, why we do it. We'll also talk a little bit about our 2020 pandemic response and sort of what's coming up next for us in 2021. So I'll go through the presentation, like I said, and we'll have plenty of time for questions, or feel free to interrupt if something is not clear. This is our staff. We have a small but mighty staff of 12. It's actually officially 11.3 FTEs. We have one vacancy right now due to the hiring freeze. So we're hopeful we can hire another person here soon. We work as a system of teams. So again, it's public art, strategic funding and initiatives, and then our finance and operations, sort of the back end team that supports everything we do. The staff you see in the yellow circle, or I don't know, call this a square, are funded through the Percent for Art Fund. And then the rest of the staff is supported through the general fund, or sometimes we have grant supported staff members, or like Gavin in the bottom right there is a sort of a graduate fellow, and he's usually those types of positions are grant funded. So I just wanted to take a minute to thank all of these staff members you see here. They really are change makers for our community. And I would say our work has not slowed down over the last 9 months. And in fact, it has intensified to a really high degree. And I think amid, personal challenges that our staff has had, from direct, tornado issues and pandemic challenges, they have really worked hard this year and through many thankless hours, pivoting our funding programs and public art opportunities to do completely different things than we were doing 6 months ago to support our arts organizations and our community and our artists. So I would just really be remiss if I didn't take this moment in a public forum to thank every single one of them for their public service to the city of Nashville. They are all passionate, and I'm really excited to be on this team with them. Today on the call, we have Janine Cristiano, who is the head of our strategic funding and initiatives. Ian Myers is our finance and operations director. Van Maravella is our public art manager, and Emily Wattenbaugh is our PIO and communications specialist. We also have an amazing group of citizen volunteers who lead and guide our work via their role as commissioners. And as you know, our commissioners are appointed by the mayor and approved by you, the council. They serve on committees with citizens to facilitate all of our programs, public art, grants and funding, equity, and anti-racism work. We also have other committees on our board, like most boards, that are related to nominating committees and strategic planning and things like that. And I'm also really appreciative of their support this year. It's been a strange year. They've spent a lot of hours with us on Zoom and WebEx meetings, working through all the many pivots that we've made. And we do have 3 vacancies right now coming up. So you'll be seeing a couple of those on the agenda, I think, next week and in the weeks to come. So I also want to publicly thank them. That's the who part. And here is in a nutshell, what we do. And if we divide our work into 2 areas of focus with public art and strategic funding and initiatives, you'll see the various programs we have there: Percent for Public Art, temporary public art programs, our Learning Lab artist development, grants to nonprofits, a big bulk of what we do, Thrive, which is supporting artist-driven projects in neighborhoods, Restorative Arts, which I'll talk a little bit more about all of these later, Opportunity Now, Racial Equity and Arts Leadership Program, which is a learning cohort program with Vanderbilts Curb Center, and Dial, which is a new program this year, Diversity in Arts Leadership, which is a program for college students who are not traditionally represented in the arts sector. So we partner interns with arts host organizations. And so we believe all of these programs foster equity and equitable opportunities within the arts ecosystem. And we're really proud of all of these things that we're doing. So we'll go a little bit deeper into each of these areas. The Percent for Public Art Ordinance was added to the Metro Charter in 2000. Here you see it the legislation being signed by Mayor Bill Purcell. And we thank him for his leadership and all the folks that were around back then to put this into action. So this dedicates 1% of certain Metro capital projects, not every capital project, but a good deal of them, which can go toward the purchase or commissioning of public art. But this program is then guided by a document called the Public Art Guidelines that set forth, how we do selection processes for artists and artworks, as well as guidance on how to maintain the collection and all sorts of things related to the program. That funding is restricted to capital permanent projects, and that's, guided by bond funding laws. So you'll see oftentimes we have to, make sure those projects are all times, but oftentimes we get asked to do certain projects and we're like, well, we can't really do that project because it's restricted to permanent things. In 2007, the first artwork was installed, Ghost Ballet, for the East Bank Machine Works, which is on the Cumberland River, as you all know and have seen. And many people ask if this is made of the dearly departed Opryland's Wabash Cannonball roller coaster, but I can assure you today, I can debunk that myth, that is not actually true. But the artist is actually inspired by amusement parks, so that is something that she was thinking about. And also the site as a historical industrial area is something she was also thinking about, and as well as the music heritage of Nashville. So we now have 118 total artworks in the collection. So if you think about that, that's almost a 12,000% increase since 2007. So it's quite a lot more artworks than we had back then. And more to come, we're adding this year through our lending library collection, which I'll talk more about, and that's in partnership with the Nashville Public Library. And 85% of our collection is by local artists, which I believe is unique to most public art programs in the country, who typically have a much smaller percentage of their collection that is by local artists. So many people ask, and especially council members often ask, how do we make decisions around where to put public art? Which is a great question. Usually we couple these projects with other municipal capital projects that occur. So you might see them attached to libraries, community centers, or even transportation projects. In 2017, we completed a planning process for the program, which did align with the Nashville Next planning around that same time, or a little bit earlier, but it was all happening around the same time. And that plan suggested 5 new tools that we might use for public art. And those included exhibitions, acquisitions, community-based artist studios, residencies, and artist on planning teams. And so since that time in 2017, we have implemented every single one of those tools. And in addition to larger scale works that you'll see, like Herb Williams' Sky Lake at Smith Springs Community Center here on the middle of the slide. And then Seytu Jones's Turnip Greens, which we installed about this time last year at the Nashville Farmers Market. And we also continue to do things like artist design bike racks, of course, develop our artworks collection, which are those acquisitions. And we've had artworks placed, of course, at the courthouse and the Metro office building, and we're adding onto that. This is the microphone bike rack by Franny Lee, Keith Harmon, and Mac Hill, which is located at Music Row. And that was one of the original bike racks that went in. And then these are some artists from the artworks collection in front of Richard Feaster's painting at the courthouse. So I will say for our program, we have concentrated our efforts on local artist commissions, underserved neighborhoods, and projects that encompass deep community engagement components. So for instance, you might see projects taking a little bit longer sometimes, but that is because of the deep community engagement work. So it's oftentimes on the front end, we're doing a lot of community engagement and throughout the process. So I think we have in past years seen, like a great number of projects happening. But I think we've tried to sort of slow down and think about how can we really have deep, meaningful engagement. So that is something we really strive to do well. One of the tools identified that we have talked about a little bit is temporary public art exhibitions. So like I mentioned, we can't spend the percent fund on temporary public art, but that is something we're very interested in and has been identified as an area to explore. So back in 2018, we did an exhibition called Build Better Tables that focused on food justice and access. And that's actually how we met Seytu Jones, the artist who did the project at the farmers market. And that resulted in 9 projects, primarily in North and East Nashville. And that involved about 25 artists. And one of those was Seytu Jones's Speakeasy, which you see there on the top of the slide. And he created that in the Brooklyn Heights Community Garden, along with a bread oven that was installed there. We also piloted several projects with Public Works and planning, and we were thinking about, like this intersection mural by Troy Duff that celebrated the eclipse. I think that was 2017. And I would say the public art field is trending toward more temporary projects because they can often better address pressing social issues, as well as employ more local artists and have more community engagement. So that's important. But again, those have to be coming out of our operational budget, which is much tighter budget there. And I would say our public art program is somewhat unique in that we have spent a great deal of time and resources to bring local artists into that public art pipeline. So a lot of times you'll see a very large scale project, RFP go out for, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And oftentimes local artists aren't really able to be competitive if they haven't done a public art project before or worked at that scale with engineers and just thinking about outdoor large scale sculptures. So we've created this program called Learning Lab to bring them sort of into that pipeline. And this teaches artists how to work in partnership with civic organizations. So the most recent iteration of that embedded artists within metro departments like public health and social services. And that resulted in an artist in residency with seniors at Elizabeth Park. And that was with artist Kristen Chapman. And so that's what we mean when we say artist residency. It's where you say, hey, artists, would you like to be embedded in this department that has nothing to do with art, but could use an artist eye or an artist's problem-solving skills or a creative look at something, and they often do projects as a result of that partnership. So now we'll switch gears to strategic funding and initiatives and all of the programs that were previously mentioned. So the bulk of our operating budget, about 2/3 of it, goes right back out into the community in the form of grants. These are FY, I think, 19 numbers. We're still crunching the numbers on the 2020. And of course, these are pre-pandemic numbers in a typical year. So we did want to show those that, typically if we have about, 2.3 to 2.5 million in grants, we're supporting close to 50 nonprofits and almost 5,000 jobs are kind of, directly and indirectly supported through operational support. About 500 to more than 500 locations are activated with arts activities in a typical year. And then you'll see that the most recent data we have is the $429 million economic impact countywide. So we really do thank you for restoring our grants budget from the proposed cut earlier this year, which would have been devastating to our arts organizations, and that is very much appreciated. But this is also based on that data. In a typical year, we're seeing 100% of council districts have some type of grant-funded program or public art or Thrive activity in a given year. Again, 500 sites, almost 5,000 artists are paid through these projects. So it's quite a big impact. And this just sort of shows the heat map of where all of those things are happening throughout. Thrive, as mentioned, connects artists and organizations with community to create neighborhood investments and transformations. We're offering this funding opportunity outside of the traditional grants process so that organizations that may not be ready to apply for a grant, or they may not be a 501c3 yet, can access this funding. And it also funds artists directly, so it's employ artists and support them. And here's a few numbers, again, pre-pandemic numbers that show in a typical year, more than 5,000 participants in those projects that were able to fund, more than 80 locations, and 125 artists are paid. That is about $125,000 a year. This year, that's what we've budgeted for those projects, and artists can apply for up to $9,500, depending on what their project is. And up next, two of our programs that focus on restorative arts and focus on youth or restorative arts and opportunity now. So this is a program with juvenile court and within the detention center. Restorative arts facilitates meaningful arts experiences with the goal of creating safe communities and providing support and opportunity to those directly impacted in the criminal justice system. Of course, this year it looks a little different. Typically, we're sending artists in person into detention to do work with the youth there. And we're also expanding that program into probation. So we have artists sort of serving as mentors and working with kids in probation. So we're hoping to get back to that. But of course, we're doing some virtual programming, and that, we're hoping to get back in person soon. And of course, most of Opportunity Now is the Youth Employment Initiative for Davidson County. And we administer the placement for youth opportunities in arts and culture. And this year, some of the programs were virtual and some were hybrid, virtual and masked, socially distanced in-person experiences, as you see in the photographs. But yeah, the students really love it, and they love these opportunities and are really engaged with the artists who are doing it. Students here, one with Turner Green Creative Reuse at the top of the screen, and a student working with Prado Studios on a collaborative mosaic that is intended for the Martha O'Brien Center. So across, all of our programs, these are our focus areas, and we've certainly sort of doubled down on these areas this year in 2020, is, supporting artists, supporting arts organizations to make sure they can survive through this year and through this crisis. Racial equity has obviously been a large focus of ours and continues to be. And then thinking about the public realm, like what does that mean to support the public realm and those shared common spaces that we all. So I wouldn't say that those priorities have changed, but we've certainly tried to figure out how can we pivot funding to artists directly. And we did that in April. We pivoted $50,000 of grant funding that we had to artists for a special round of Thrive. So these were not your typical Thrive projects, but artists were asked to sort of think about projects that would uplift the community and support everyone while they're sort of stuck at home during the safer at home time period. And that resulted in virtual concerts, Zoom lessons and workshops, DIY workshops, and all sorts of really cool things. And those are all cataloged on our website, and many of them can still be accessed. We were able to pay 26 artists in these projects, which I thought was really great. And this on the left, you see Alicia Mrozik's Nashville Strong coloring book, which can be downloaded, I think, still from our website, and also Alicia's website, a free Zoom dance class, and then Xavier Payne's billboard that I believe that one was in East Nashville on the right there. Another way we pivoted was with our public art program and sort of thought about like, okay, how can we use those public art dollars in the ways that we have to, and, you know, sort of permanent pieces, but how can we support local artists and sort of quickly? So we conceived of this lending library program. So basically we are commissioning or acquiring 60 artworks by local artists that will be put into a couple of different branches of the Nashville Public Library. And then anyone with a library card can go and check those out for a number of weeks and bring those back and get to experience real artwork in their homes that they may not have had access to before, or just, you might learn of a new artist and get to live with their artwork for a little while. So we're very excited about this program and very grateful to the public library for partnering with us in this year of all of their pivots, and them being willing to do this is really exciting. So we hope this will be launching pretty soon, and that we'll get to lending those artworks in the spring of 2021. And this weekend, we have the capstone event of our Madison On My Mind Community Arts Project. This was funded by the National Endowment for the Arts, and this was aimed at sort of thinking about the creative ecosystem within the Madison community, of which, of course, your chair of this committee is very fond. We commissioned artists who live in Madison and sort of asked them to think about what are their favorite Madison places, businesses, spaces, people. And we were able to, through this, of course, support artists financially and think about lifting up the culture of Madison and the history. And this has resulted in a really impressive lineup of projects that we're very excited about. And they will be showcased, like I said, this weekend, December 12th, 12 to 3 at the 54 Madison Station. And we'd love to invite all of you to drive through anytime during that event. And the first 100 people will get a free cinnamon roll from Graham's Coffee. So don't be late, because you don't want to miss that. So in the early days of 2020, just after the tornado and all of that happened, we sort of pivoted, as the pandemic was first, or we were first learning about it, we started sharing resources on our website for artists and arts organizations, crisis funding, and any opportunities that we could find. We also co-hosted some webinars on how to apply for federal funding in the early days when it was, all very confusing and everything was happening very fast. And then we also, surveyed our grantee organizations and asked them, like, what is the impact? How's it going? What do you need? And we did that a couple of times throughout the year. And our most recent data is from September, when we asked them to update what they had sent us. And from that, we found, there was similar concerns across the board. And these were the top concerns we were seeing with all organizations is, of course, revenue loss, which is in the tens of millions for our arts organizations here in Nashville. Operating reserves are, of course, being depleted. Many organizations report only 1 to 2 months of operating cash on hand. Fundraising challenges, of course, donors and patrons are also experiencing hardships. So there's, less giving, there's uncertainty, there's, fewer events, people aren't able to hold their events, or they're having to move them online, that kind of thing. And then uncertainty around the duration. So we're not sure, how long will this last? And especially for performing arts organizations who really were the first to close and will likely be the last to be able to reopen, to have, people sitting next to each other in a theater, that kind of thing. And then I thought this was an interesting point of the top concerns is talent drain. Many of these institutions have had to do massive layoffs. They don't want to have to do another round of layoffs, and they're, worried about losing this talented and experienced staff of professionals that, exist in the ecosystem right now. While all of that is very dire, they have pivoted in amazing ways, and I'll just have, one example, but all 50 plus organizations have done amazing things in the virtual space. And just one example was Belcourt's drive-in movies, which was really cool. And I think every single organization is offering some sort of virtual program or concert or workshop, learning space. I think that's been really exciting to see. In the beginning, we as a funder also thought about ways we could change and how could we help. We tried to release matching requirements that are attached to our grants back in the spring. We pivoted any project grants we had given out to operating support. We tried to get money out the door faster, allowed earlier drawdowns on final payments, and tried to, of course, expedite payments through the system. And recently, thanks to your approval, the allocation of $2 million of federal funding of the CARES Act money toward Nashville's arts and cultural organizations. And we're working with Pathway Lending right now to distribute those funds and get those out the door. And we hope to approve those at our commission meeting, those awards later this week. So that's really exciting and really pivotal for the community. And I really do thank you for prioritizing Nashville's cultural institutions as a really important part of our community. And racial equity, we've talked a lot about it. So if we are going to live into our mission to drive a more vibrant and equitable community, then as Nashville changes and grows, we know we need to examine conditions that create inequities, provide pathways for everyone to experience a creative life like we say we want to do. For the past 5 years, we've intentionally sort of emphasized equity, and as a result of our previous strategic plan, our cultural equity statement, and really thought about how that plan and statement can articulate values and center equity and how we can become an anti-racist organization. So as a funder, as a public funder and providing support for the arts, we know we need to create that culture of learning that sparks conversations, provides spaces for building awareness, develops shared languages and shared analysis. And, in some ways, art can really be a driver there. It's one way that we can all come together and understand ideas that might be, harder for us to talk about. So let's see what else. So these are just a few areas. We have some of the things, action steps we've taken is examining our grant guidelines, for instance. We spend a lot of time looking at our guidelines and thinking about ways we can reduce barriers there. We formed partnerships like the ones we have with Vanderbilt and others. We've thought about ways we could approach public art differently and do our selection processes differently and do deeper community engagement, as I had mentioned. And finally, the commission has adopted a formal committee for anti-racism and equity that's been doing a lot of really deep work, and they're guiding that work for our agency. This includes 2 commissioners, and I want to say 7 to 9 community members who are part of that committee. So we're really excited to see what comes from this and continue this as part of our focus area. Just a little bit deeper there, again, is with Vanderbilt's Curb Center, and this is a learning cohort process. So basically arts leaders, organizational leaders in the arts sector, artists, arts administrators can come together and learn about race equity practices and ways to enact change in their own, personal practice, organizational structure, and the larger arts ecosystem. Participants engage in seminars, lunch and learns, self and peer critiques, organizational workshops, and public lectures. And of course, with the goal to eliminate, interrupt, and transform conditions that perpetuate racism. And we're really excited that last month it was announced that the NEA, National Endowment for the Arts, is awarding us another $50,000 grant to expand this program, which is really exciting and a great validation for the work being done there. And I mentioned the Diversity in Arts Leadership Program. And so Nashville was only the 4th U.S. city to host this program, which started in New York City and was later expanded to New Jersey and Des Moines, Iowa. So we're matching undergraduate students from backgrounds traditionally untapped in the arts ecosystem and placing them ideally with arts organizations. That was the idea. But of course, COVID changed that a little bit this year. Had to pivot to a virtual program, which turned out to be really great. There was an online curriculum that was adapted from our real program. And the fellows, as we called them, came together in meetings, of course, over Zoom many times over the summer. And we hope to continue this next year and potentially in person, but it could be virtual. We'll see how the year goes. But these fellows culminated their work in an artistic project, which we have on our website if you would like to see more about that. And this year we are going to, this is a national program, but we are going to recruit heavily from our local universities and HBCUs. So we definitely hope you will help us get the word out about that. Another program that we have with Crossroads Anti-Racism is been 2.5-day intensive racism training for members of the Nashville arts community. But this year, since we can't do that, we're going to do a 1-day training and a partnership with the Porch Writers Collective on a writing workshop that'll take place over, I believe, 6 weeks. And that is open now for registration and will start in January. So just quickly to focus on our public realm that I mentioned, we are working on a project at Cossey Gardner, and this will be a community canvas on the wall you see there in the bottom. That's the wall that backs up to I-40, which of course everyone understands that it was sort of the impetus for cutting off the thriving Jefferson Street community from the rest of Nashville. So this artwork will be a little different, and then it will change out periodically, and it's being led by an advisory panel from the community. And this is, of course, a mural there from the North Art Collective, and it's just one of the examples of public art that's already in the neighborhood. And we've also worked cross-departmentally on community-driven processes. So if you're a community member and you want to do public art on Metro property, what is the process? So we've tried to make that a little more clear and a little more streamlined, I guess you could say. And we also created some resources, including a mural guide and a developer's guide to public art, which is a large-scale public art project is slated for the Fairgrounds, which is coming up. The panel of citizens selected Blessing Hancock, who will be the artist to work on that project. It'll be in the plaza space in front of the new Expo Center, and we'll have a strong daytime and nighttime presence. And this project overall at the Fairgrounds, we're also going to have another phase that will have opportunities specifically for local artists, and of course, a lot of community engagement. This wrap up here, just talking about a few things coming up on the radar, and one of those is strategic planning. I just mentioned that 5 years ago our strategic plan was rolled out, so it's time to do another one. We know Nashville has changed quite a bit in 5 years. So we want to do some deep work there on planning. We have the RFP for consultants is with procurement now, and we hope to open that up in January. Part of that planning process, we've talked about this a lot, but just like looking at the art sector, how can we support them? What is our cultural identity as a city? How do we want to learn from 2020? What do we want to take forward? What do we not want to take forward? Thinking about our peer cities funding the arts sector at much higher levels than we are currently based on our population, and what are some solutions that have been implemented other places and creative ways we might think about that. Of course, more funding could translate to more arts and music education, more free programs for Nashvillians, ultimately more artists paid, more jobs created, of course, a larger economic impact. It's certainly something we're interested in. We are working on a project with Data Clinic and thinking about data analysis and how we can do our job better, how can we measure our impact. So using data found on the Open Data Portal, we are working with 2 Sigma's Data Clinic and their data scientists to sort of overlay other data that is out there, related to other metro departments on neighborhood resources, community demographics, and school populations. And really just solidify how are we using data to do our job better. And this just shows a few other of the Data Clinic projects around the country. We also want to continue working across departments because we know the value of arts and artists, we know that value can bring to other areas of the government. And we sort of see ourselves as that, sort of reaching out across the whole city rather than slicing our work and just sort of staying in the arts corner. So that will be building upon, Restorative Arts Program, leveraging artists' creative talents in transit and planning and transportation projects. And of course, the Lending Library Program is one example of that. And the Election Commission this year partnered with us to do the student art contest to design the special edition voted sticker in honor of the 100th anniversary of women gaining the right to vote. So that's been really exciting and really well received. It sold out at all the precincts, and it was really cool to see how arts can spur civic participation and excitement about history and in the voting process. And we have coming up some transit shelters on Nolensville Pike that are artist designed, all local artists. And that, of course, is in partnership with WeGo Planning and Public Works. And they really, the artist spent some time. You can see this image of Tess Davies' friendly monster concept. And she worked with the kids at Casa Ozapram Preschool to inspire this design. I will wrap up there. I went a little longer than I said I was going to, but this concludes a very extensive look at all the things Metro Arts is working on and sort of the state of things in 2020. I'm happy to take questions. And of course, you can always email us, find us on social media, on our website, and also sign up. I think we have most of you signed up, but if you haven't yet, we have a bi-monthly newsletter called Arts Alert that has a lot of information available. So I hope you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Vincent. This is Councilmember Nancy Van Reese talking again. Oh, put that back up. It's way more pretty than just a name on a screen. I believe that mural is at the Farmers Market, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot to say that. That is one of the murals done by the North Art Collective last year at the Farmers Market. Yes, in the vestibule.
Okay. Very cool. We fellow council members have a little bit more time to be able to ask any questions. I know that there's other staff members on the line as well. If you want to raise your hand, we will not be taking questions from the attendees, but we will be taking questions from council members. And I see Mr. Bradford, you had your hand up? You have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair. When you put up the map showing all the public art in...
I'm sorry, Council Member Bradford, you're hard to hear. Can you turn up your mic a bit?
Can you hear me now? Chair, can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
So there was a slide showing the public art in Davidson County, and I was just wondering if members of council can get a list of the public art in their districts.
Yes, we can certainly provide that to you. We have it, by map. We also did some maps, district specific. I think last year it was, but we can definitely get you that information. And if there's not public art in your district, please let us know if you have ideas about where public art can go. We can certainly put that on our planning list.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
One of the things that I've been impressed with is the public engagement in the way that grants funding takes place. Could you talk about how local nonprofit arts organizations receive operating grants and what the process is there with the community involvement?
Sure. So basically, like this time of year right now, we're setting our grant guidelines for FY22 funds. And part of that looks at, they apply, arts organizations are able to apply. And then our adjudication process, which means just like our review process, includes citizen panels. So basically, we take nominations from anyone or self-nominations to be on those panels. And so we have citizen panels, which is true of public art as well, who come in and read, all of those applications and score them and make, basically recommendations on who gets funded and, that kind of thing. And then those recommendations go to our grants and funding committee of the commission, and then the commission makes the final decisions on those. But certainly it's a very citizen-driven process, and we have a lot of volunteers who spend a lot of time doing that work each year. And if you do have ideas for panelists, please let us know. I believe there's an application on our website, but we can certainly send you that as well.
I think that'd be really helpful. I know that as council members, we're always looking for openings on boards and commissions that we might be able to find folks in our district to share with the mayor's office for vetting and try to see whether or not that would work out. But similarly, I wanted to make sure that folks know that if they're interested in learning more about how all this works, one of the best ways to do that is to volunteer to be on one of these review panels, because you learn so much from doing it. I did it in the early aughts, I think, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that you begin to kind of a better understanding of that. And so as anybody can get that application at the metroartsnashville.com website. But for council members, if you have people particularly in mind, make sure that Caroline and the crew know, so that they can also reach out to them to see if we can get them engaged. I think that the diversity of those panels is not just racial, ethnic, and gender, but it's also about the diversity of the county. And so we want to make sure that we're seeing more and more people from all over the city participate in the citizen review, because that's how you get everything else to work, in my opinion. So make sure and look into that. I also know that from that process that you have kind of tiers of those grants, kind of like the operating expenses. I think it's remind us again the maximum amount of operating expenses that they can receive, and kind of how those tiers work. Because I know that I think there's 3, if I remember correctly, and kind of have an idea as to how different arts organizations, depending on their size, receive different types of grant support through the city.
Sure. So we have, as an applicant, you would really just see, a couple different categories. Basic operating support. So that's any organization that has $100,000 budget or more. And we have organizations that are up to, like above 5 million, down, to 100,000. And so that'd be basic operating support. And then core operating support is organizations who are, $100,000 and below. And then we typically have project grants as well, and those focus on youth arts and arts access and things like that. I think this year we're going to pivot to operating support only, just to really focus on helping our organizations sort of sustain through this crisis and beyond. And organizations cannot receive more than 20% of their operating budget. So in those, in the cases of those small organizations, we don't want to be funding someone's, 50% of their budget. We need to sort of see some balance there. So it's capped at 20%. But for instance, like if you're an organization with an, budget of $1 million or more, and you can apply for up to $300,000, but we never have that much money. So it's usually 100,000 to 130 is really our top grants. Like that's the most we're granting out to any organization, on down to below $10,000 or in the $10,000 range. So it's quite a range, and we try to make sure it works for all organizations who if they're starting up, or if they're the symphony or the ballet or at that level of budget.
Thank you for that. I'm going to call on another council member. While I'm doing that, could you find that slide on the equitable distribution of funds on peer cities? And I am going to give the floor to council member Hauser. Go ahead.
Yes, I was on your website and I was trying to find out how to sign up for the newsletter, and I don't see a link anywhere related to that.
Emily, are you on the call still?
I'm sorry?
I was going to ask Emily Walton Ball to speak to that. I'm not sure exactly where it is.
Okay.
Sure, it's in a few different places. I think if you go under the About Us and the Contact Us link from the homepage, one of the options.
I'm on the MetroArtsNashville.com. I see About Us, Experience Art, Impact and Strategy, News and Events, and Funding Opportunities. I've clicked on every one of those, and there's not a link to the newsletter.
Yes, if you go on to About Us, and one of the options under About Us that will like unroll under that option is Contact Us, and then subscribe to Arts Alert is one of the options on that page. And I will follow up with all of you with those public art maps, as well as the link to sign up for the newsletter, or I can just enroll you myself.
Okay, I see it now. It's just you might want to make that more obvious.
Sure, I'd be happy to
So
do that.
separate-
Thank you.
Like on your homepage or something, because
Okay.
it doesn't, we're used to seeing that being something very easy. So to get the word out, it might be good to have that be more obvious.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great feedback, Councilmember Hauser. I think that a button above the fold somewhere would be helpful quite a bit. I'm looking to see if there's any other hands. If not, I'm going to bounce back to funding. And we're going to have another round of conversations. In January, we're going to hear back with parks. In February, we'll hear again from libraries. And then in March, we'll hear back again from Caroline and to speak directly about funding specifically. But this particular slide speaks volumes to me in regard to how far we have to go. And at the same time, the incredible amount of bang for our tax buck that we're getting already out of our engagement with the Metro Arts Department. And so I wanted to pull this back up in case any council members, after looking at this slide again, have any additional questions concerning the equitable nature of funding. I'm not seeing any questions, so that means that we're going to get more funding. So keep this in mind. I know that we looked really hard at this every year, and I know that we're closing in on the 5 o'clock hour. If there's any other questions while I'm talking, y'all raise your hand. I know that a lot of council members are watching these after the recordings, and so we're keeping them kind of bundled together so that all of the council members can hear a little bit more about some of these departments. Our committee, I'll speak again, with Parks, Library, and Arts are really the cultural backbone of our city, in my opinion. And if we are to protect them and help them grow, then this committee needs to make sure that we're answering real good questions, make sure that we're doing our part to ensure that the taxpayer dollars is being spent wisely, but that we also speak loudly against the benefit that we have. And so that's a lot of the reason why I, as chair, am having these conversations, is to make sure that we're very clear on the benefit. Are there any other questions? Oh my gosh, all right. Caroline, thank you very much for your ongoing leadership and for the entire crew. I know that Councilmember Hancock is also on the line, and so from the Madison folks, I know that we're getting very excited about Saturday. And
I'm so excited.
I do have one question about that. You guys are going to document the actual 3 hours of event in some way. You're going to be kind of documenting how it's happening and stuff, because I think that if anybody misses it, they're going to really miss out. But at the same time, I'd love to make sure that we're sharing it in some way for those who otherwise don't feel comfortable coming. It's a drive-through and drive-in event, so it's COVID free. But for those who don't feel like they can make it, I want to make sure that they still have access to all the elements of it. So you guys going to be able to promise those things?
I'm going to let Emily or Van, can you speak to that? I'm not sure what the documentation.
Yes, this is Van. And so we are going to actually have an archive of all of the work that we funded on our website, and a really wonderful, robust kind of human interest piece on each of the funded artists, about their artistic practice, about their project specifically. And we are going to be videoing the actual event. So there's going to be lots of ways to engage with and view what we're doing on Saturday. And above and beyond that, kind of a deeper dive later on. And all of this work has been conducted by funded Madison-based artists, which is really exciting too. So we've got journalists and photographers and videographers who are going to help us document this and make sure that we have record of it for many years to come.
Well, I've been particularly pleased with the way in which you've been able to kind of take the loaves and fishes and spread it out in a way that has, I've been hearing from the creative class in my district about how excited they are and how responsive everyone has been in the overall project, just the joy of doing it. And that thrills me. And I'm really looking forward to Saturday. And I hope everybody, if you're hearing this video after Saturday, the 12th of December, that you'll go to the Metro Arts website and learn more about it and sign up for that newsletter. For those of you who are listening to this before then, please join us from 12 to 3 at the parking lot at 50 Forward off of Madison Station Boulevard, behind the Madison Library, next to the future Music City Roots. And we will be having an incredibly good time. Probably, I think it's going to be one of the best things that happened in 2020. It's going to be that Saturday. So with that, Tanya Hancock, I'm going to let you go ahead and have this last word. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Van Reese. I just wanted to ask the specific, is it a drive or
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Can you repeat your question? I think we've lost connection.
that? Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are. Yes, go ahead.
Is it a drive-through or drive-in? If someone comes at 12, can they leave, or do they stay all 3 hours?
They do not have to stay all 3 hours. So it is a drive-through. So each artist, a number of the artists will be set up at booths or stops. So you'll kind of be guided through each of the stops. And then if you would like to stay in your car and hang out with us for a little longer, we will have a stage where people can pull up and enjoy live music and performances, in addition to kind of these stations where the artists will be talking about their work and displaying their work.
Thank you so much.
All right, and first 150 people get a donut, or no, not a donut, a cinnamon roll.
Even better, a cinnamon roll.
A cinnamon roll. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your time today. You can, if you know me, you know how passionate I am about the success of this department, and I really appreciate everyone's attention to this with so much going on. Hope to see you Saturday. If not, thank you again for your attention this afternoon. And have a great day. And we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.